Hello and welcome, friends and enemies, to another episode of RSF Radio. I'm your host, Joe Monday, and this is the This is the podcast where I can't speak about intros. It's been a way. I took a week off because of things got heavy, and there was literally nothing I could have said into this microphone that would be additive to the conversation, and there were too many stories out there to cover all of them or have them be talked about by the people who were harmed. But we're going to get into that a little bit later. What's important right now, though, is that I have a special guest today. Special guest, Chibi Cynthia. How you doing?
Hello. I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. How are you?
I was saying during the intro that I got 3 hours of sleep 2 days ago. And I had a full set of sleep last night, but I'm only tired today. I was super fully energy yesterday. I had it in me. And then today I woke up and was like, I'm strung out. What the fuck happened to me?
It'd be like that sometimes.
Sometimes it do.
We're going through a pandemic right now, so you can be a little nicer to yourself if you don't get the right amount of sleep. Just kind of be nice to yourself during this time.
Yeah, that's my jam, actually. Now that I've been so still a little update on that. Still furloughed, still no job. So I've been taking day naps occasionally. Because here's how it'll happen though, is that I don't really like naps usually, but I'll be sitting on the couch. I'll be either playing games or something or reading a book, and then my dog Brick will cuddle up in my arm nook. And then as soon as that happens, I'm like, oh, he's very nice. And then he falls asleep, and I see him fall asleep, and then I'm like, well, if he's sleeping, what if I just fell asleep? And then
That's the best life.
It's very, very cute. And then my wife comes downstairs and is like, you too, and we're like, what? We're adorable. It's really what I'm trying to say. But no, how
As you
about
said that, my dog just came up to me and he's trying to nap next to me. That's really funny.
Oh yeah, you got a cute dog too. That's right, Gang Gang, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Great name for a dog.
It's Chinese.
What kind of dog is Gang Gang?
I think he's a Yorkie. He's a big Yorkie. My dad found him in a parking lot.
Aww.
And he's just the cutest, clingiest thing. I'll have to bring him to a tournament sometime.
Yeah, we gotta have a dog tournament. That would be a dog-friendly tournament. Dog-friendly space at a tournament. But lots of pee pads, but those are for the smashers. The dogs can go outside. Or just use the actual toilets. Anyway, sick burn. No, I jest. It's fine.
Speaking of smashers.
Oh, no, not right now. Not yet.
No.
We're not going to get into that. This is the start of the show, and anytime I have the start of a show and I have a new guest on, or any guest at all, I like to spend the first part of the show talking about, what are your socials? Where are you at? What do you got going on right now?
Okay, well, my IG is Chibi Cynthia. I'm really nice and funny, and I try to post memes. And sometimes pictures of my butt. But that's whatever. I also have a community called Marina's Maid Cafe, where a bunch of us just volunteer to be nice on the internet, on Twitch. So that's twitch.tv/Marina's Maid Cafe. And yeah, we're looking for volunteers too. So if anybody feels sad or anxious, you come into one of our streams and we just say something nice to you. And that's the gist of it.
That's a fascinating idea. I didn't know that there were places like that just exist to throw good vibes out there. That's cool.
Thank you. Well, it's inspired by my best friend who also played video games, and her name was Marina Taylor, and she was a trans woman. And her name was Marina Taylor, and she had a group called Marina's Maid Cafe. And every day, to about 300-400 girls, she would just check up on us and tell us that she loved us in case nobody told us that the day. And she had passed away unexpectedly, and I just want to bring it back to life and make sure it continues in her name, because she's inspired me the most out of everything, because she was so kind and sweet. And it would just devastate me if I couldn't continue it, because if she was allowed to be the woman that she wanted to be, she would have an even greater impact. And it breaks my heart that the world isn't like more accepting of like trans people and stuff like that. So we're doing a couple things with it, and we want to host events such as like tournaments and stuff, or random events that are good for the community, so we can keep it going, you know?
I didn't realize you were going to hit me with something like that.
Sorry.
This early on in the show.
Was that too much?
No, that is very sincere and earnest.
I've been working on it for years, so.
I gotta be honest. I'm a little. It's hitting me in my eye space. My eyes are getting in a weird way. I don't know. It's one of those days. Maybe it's because I'm
joining us sometime.
That's just so sincere and so good. I don't know. It's just nice to hear good stories like that, and ones that have personal meaning like that are just. That was a bit overwhelming to me right there.
I think we need
right off the bat.
We need more love. You know what I mean? We need so much love. And I think when it comes to the FGC especially, we've got a lot of trans players, and they deserve representation and love just like the rest of us.
Yeah, I mean, it's fighting games, but like there's a lot of love that can go around with that. It's not just always attacking people all the time. It's it's
so weird. That's so weird to me. I've never understood it.
It's about love, man. No, I in full agreement with that, and that's just. I'm sorry that I'm at a loss for words right now, because that one hit me in the gut. You gutted me right away.
Really?
I didn't expect it, you son of a bitch. With that though, I think that it's about time that we can talk about the first item on the docket, which is Queens of Quarantine, which is an idea that you had, a tournament idea. Would you like to talk about that for a little bit?
Yes. Okay, so as a woman in the gaming community, I've experienced firsthand a lot of, kind of the obvious stuff that women go through when it comes to fighting game tournaments, or just tournaments in general. And I feel like we could do with a little bit more love and representation in the community. So I'm throwing this women's only fighting game tournament for Street Fighter, and I just want to see what's out there women wise, you know what I mean? Like I want them to have fun with it. If they want to like trash talk a little bit or cheer their friends on, like it's supposed to be a fun, feel good thing for us during, the pandemic. It's just something that I would love to see come to life.
And in terms of like what it's supporting, like I know that you had wanted like you basically wanted Marina's Maid Cafe to be like part of it and have that be, just like have that message reach out to more people. And I don't know why, like in my mind, I hadn't like tied those two things together until you had told that story right now, and of it being like, it's about love, man. I don't know. That's cool.
Yeah. And so we're offering $350 to, the winners. And we're doing like, I believe you said East and West Coast, because we can't cover both of them at the same time.
Right. In Street Fighter V, it's going coast to coast is untenable. It's just not. Yeah. You just can't do it. So that being a limitation of the systems that we're working with, having to split it up east and west is, I was going to say ideal, but like not actually ideal. We could cut it up more, but in terms of the kind of tournament that you wanted to run, I should also state for the record that, because I don't think we've talked about this yet, but our Street Fighter is doing the hosting for this.
Yes, you guys are awesome. You're awesome.
Oh, shut the fuck up. Which is the first time in a long time where we've had to like host someone else's tournament, which is fine for us. So if there's anybody out there who wants us to run tournaments for you, we can do that. We are all set up for it. It's all,
heck yeah.
It's all a pretty like A to B to C for us. But what was cool about this one, at least for me, I can just talk about me for a second, is that it forced me to write down rules that I had only like conceptualized in my head about how an online tournament with like netcode limitations should run. and put that down into words finally. So like, I should also state this, like, I know that the last episode that was released on this feed was talking about how to run an online tournament. If you just want to steal the words from this tournament in how to like word your like speed test and connection testing, go ahead and do that if you want to. Like, it's all there, it's linked in the show notes. But back to the tournaments though, because the first one is coming up soon. What are the dates for this?
I believe we're doing August 1st for the first monthly.
Nice. And that will be the East Coast tournament, and then kind of planning it out from there to have it be a monthly event.
We'll switch back and forth, so like people, it'll be fun, you know what I mean? And eventually I could see us doing like East versus West Coast girls.
Yeah, that could be fun. Like a possibility. We'll see, like depending.
We'll see.
I've always like thought about, even for like the tournaments that we run, of like getting the people who have competed in just like seating wise, and grabbing like an invitational of like a 5v5 or like a 3v3, just to see like East versus West Coast, because like I feel like that's the way to do an East Coast versus West Coast, because like sometimes you'll get a just location wise a good connection between like when I say East Coast and West Coast, I mean like split by the Mississippi, like that kind of coasting, you know.
I feel you.
So like sometimes you'll get a good connect, but you know, it's not always reliant on just like the one good connection that you can. But anyway, team tournaments.
It'll be fun either way, and I'm excited because I'm really hoping that Capcom will, you know, drop by and take a look at us, because they also, I believe, announced that they were going to do a women's league.
True.
And I found that very fascinating.
So they did
it's time for women to step up.
They did say that, and they haven't really released a whole bunch more information after that first info drop, which was interesting to me. I don't know if I've actually went into detail on that women's league thing, because
it was pretty vague. It was Event Hubs.
Yeah.
Had written it.
So like the coverage of it, there was really only like 2 sentences dedicated to what this thing actually might be, because it was only like listed in like an earnings report, if memory serves correctly, of like this was like for like Capcom business stuff, where they were like, we plan on, you know, like supporting women and stuff like that, which to me makes a lot of sense, because you have people like Carolyn in the US offices doing who is, I guess, quote unquote formerly combo queens. I think I have to legally say quote unquote formerly combo queens, because she's like not allowed to work on that while at Capcom. But regardless, like I trust her with stuff like that in general. So like if she is behind some of those incentives, then it's probably gonna be fine.
I mean, I'm just excited to see what they're gonna do, because I don't think anyone's ever done this before. So it's fair to say that we can't really know what to expect. Like, all we can really do is kind of look at how past leagues have franchised, right? And hopefully, you know, we get as much funding and exposure and just see women rise to the top. You know what I mean? Because it's definitely time.
Right. And the thing that caught me about that was not even the women's league part of it, but that there was that whole other half of that sentence of being, they plan on like investing in like supporting women within the community in some way. Like, again, it was ultra vague, but it seemed like lessons or something, or like kind of like,
yes, they offered
extra business opportunities.
An academy, which they offered an academy, which makes sense to me, because, like, to be fair, if you look at the numbers for women and men in gaming, and especially professional gaming, men outnumber women. Just, they're the majority in this industry. And if they plan on franchising it the way that I think they're going to, kind of much like, you know, NBA, like they'll have, like, for example, I don't know, Miami Mamacitas or Atlanta Peaches, whatever. they're gonna force the community to find the best women to represent those cities and states, or however they're gonna franchise it. And even if they were to just get 10,000 views extra a month, like for women, that's going to do loads for the community. You know what I mean? And what they had planned to do was partner up established professionals who can teach women to game and game better.
Right.
Just so it's gonna work. You know what I mean? Like, they're gonna find a coach, and if they can get their shit together, then they're gonna win. Like, they practice, they work hard, they'll be good. And I'm glad that they're doing that, because I don't know how many women out there are actively trying to be Street Fighter pros right now, but it can't be that many. You know what I mean? But if they're putting out the resources for us to, I don't know, house women and make sure they're paid for their time and investment and skills, then they're just going to benefit from that promotion. And I want to see women play professionally, not just, I don't know, some joke in the community on occasion.
Right. It's kind of like an exposure thing of an exposure of representation, because the women, they are out there. There are strong women within the community. There's tons of them. But do they? It
just makes sense.
Yeah.
To me, because they can model, they can be spokespeople for their brands, and which reminds me, one of my loose plans is to have my own women only esports team called Jade Dynasty, where I just want to see women be bad bitches out there and play video games. And if they, I don't know, get yelled at by a dude, then I want them to yell back at them. I don't really care. But
okay.
Like,
you want to see them be bad bitches. That's what you want to see.
I do. I sincerely do. Like, I might get some flack for this, but like, I don't care if my homegirl is like last place. You know what I mean? I want to see her having fun. I want her to try her best, and if she's been practicing, then that's all I can expect from her. You know what I mean? I want to see women grow, and if you want to see women grow in the community, you have to help them grow. You know what I mean? You can't just say, "Hey, women, you have to do as well as the men in the competitions." Like, you can't just do that and hope for the best. Sometimes you have to foster growth within the community, and I think that's how we can do that with Queens of Quarantine, and also what Capcom is doing with the franchising.
Because as we're finding out, it's not just a matter of showing up and playing the games, because a lot of instances of women at events leads to bad things. A whole slew of bad things that literally I don't think that we could cover in its entirely on this show, just because of the amount of work it would take to look at each case and look at like each person, because that's like, here's like the other half of it, is that I actually don't think that, all right, if we're gonna get into it, is that I don't think that this moment in time for the community, and also like to a further extent like games culture of people being outed as abusers, is, I don't think this is drama. I've seen it categorized as drama.
It's not.
It's the cost of lives for real people. Like, when bad things happen to real people, it's not just, oh, this is just a story that someone told. This is drama. I don't want to be caught up in the drama. It's like,
some of these are crimes. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yes.
You got to call it for what it is.
It's crimes. It's literally crimes. Like,
just like, no, if you try to explain this as an FGC person, it's just, that's weird. You know, if I explain this to some person I met at the mall, they'd be like, what the fuck is going on in the gaming community? Like, that's not okay, you know?
Yeah. And, like, especially when you see, even the thing that got me was when Evo has since like corrected their issue, but with Mr. Wizard, they were like, he's going to be on leave for however long. We're going to run a third-party investigation. And I was like, is the third party...
That's some old...
Is the third party the cops? Like,
seriously.
Is it the police? And
it's
then
like a Law and Order episode where they're just not reporting it. Like,
because Mariska Hargitay would be on that shit. Mariska Hargitay and Ice-T would be all over this shit, and
oh my gosh,
put his ass in an orange jumpsuit, and it would be he's gonna take you down to Rikers. I fucking love Ice-T.
Dude, me too. He's so good on Law and Order.
He's fantastic. He's the best. Anyway, he also like loves gaming, which is like a fun fact about Ice-T. Oh yeah, you didn't know this? Like,
I'm gonna tag him now every time. What did he play?
One of my favorite posts of his was from years and years ago, about like, I think it was for the first time in Call of Duty where they allowed prestiging, and he was like, I think the tweet is just, if you don't prestige, you a bitch. It's just his. It's like, yeah, Ice-T. All right, I dig it. You're the best. No, he's fucking awesome.
He needs to have his own team as well as Ja Rule. You know what I mean?
Ain't nobody give a fuck what Ja Rule think. I don't know. Come on, Chief.
I need him to do my hype videos.
Fucking goddamn. Nobody give a fuck what Ja Rule thinks. That would be. I actually think. Now that I think about it, he might have his own. He might have his own thing going. I'll have to look into it. I haven't looked into it any further than
have
just offhandedly.
Have you seen his commercial?
No, I have not. Please, I guess I'll have to ask you to explain.
You have to. He recently made a commercial for like some local Greek joint, and he's just screaming at it. You gotta come to this place. They got hummus. They got like. It is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen, and it's so good. And it started trending. It was so good.
That's very funny to me on two levels. One is that's pretty funny to have Ja Rule doing like a local Greek play. Come on down to this local Greek restaurant. We got grape leaves.
He can pronounce some of it, and it was so funny.
That's good, because that also explains like what happened to him after Fire Festival. He's doing commercials for the local Greek anymore.
I'm just like, secure the. I mean, what else are you gonna do? Yeah, like,
if you can,
you know what? Do it. Go for it. You sell that hummus. Okay, you sell that.
Fucking Ja Rule. Falafel. Sell that falafel, Ja Rule. Go get yours. Your gyros. By the way, are you a gyro or a gyro person?
I am a gyro.
Have you ever thought about saying that word? A gyro? Okay. All right.
I did say gyro. I'm embarrassed. But then I learned from other people. And now I'm a respectable human being.
You've made it. Good job. All right. Where were we, though? Okay. Because we were talking about very serious things, and then we started talking about
the Ice-T and Ja Rule.
Yeah, okay. No, I'm just a little disappointed in myself of like talking about something extremely serious, and then like Ja Rule selling falafels. It's like that A to B to C isn't.
You're gonna thank me when you see that video. It's hilarious.
Fair enough, but more to the point though is that there are still allegations being made. And women coming forward and men coming forward of issues that have happened to them in the past, which I've seen a lot of people. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people actually be like, "Oh, it's the dark times for the FGC." But to me, this is like part of healing. We
want them out of the community. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
we don't want them to continue what they're doing. And if you cared more about their success as a social media persona rather than the feelings and experiences of the victims, and you're kind of a questionable person. You know what I mean? It's a good thing that these victims are coming out, and it's a good thing that people are actually trying to talk about the sexual assault issues or discrimination and mistreatment, and it's just like it's almost all so much or too much. But from the twitlongers that I've been reading, a lot of the victims have been very eloquent and, in describing the experiences and providing proof as well, which has been greatly helpful.
Yeah, it cannot be understated the amount of bravery that it takes to step forward in the situation from a lot of people. And I just want to say that that if this describes you, I'm just hella impressed, because that's incredible.
Like, I'm so proud. Like, if you're listening to this, like, I'm so proud of you, and you're so brave and amazing. Like, you did nothing wrong. I'm just so shocked that people had to endure that, you know what I mean, and hold it in for so long. Mm-hmm. But it's a good thing. It's a good time to weed out all the bad, and then all the good's gonna start coming from it, because if you only have a community of good people, then it's only gonna get better.
Right. And I think that some of the backlash that I've seen from people who are like, oh man, there's just all this drops on Twitter, like this fucking we're just canceling people left and right for things that they've done.
Oh,
to which that I say that if that's something that you actually believe in, and you want to one, protect people, like, also, like, let's provide these people an out. They have to go to Twitter, because that's the only thing that's the only recourse here. There's no, you can't go to the company and say, hey, company, like, this happened to me, because
some of them have. Nothing came of it.
Exactly. That's the case. Like, you go and you follow all the rules, you do everything right, and then nothing happens, or you hear about this all the time. And
it's hard. It's hard on them to watch their assaulters, to walk away living happily without consequences, and that's how they get away with the things that they've been doing for so long, is because people don't speak up. Mm-hmm. And now that people are speaking up, we're gonna put a stop to it, you know, like, and even if it just means sharing these stories, we put in the fear to other people who might have been doing nefarious things or have been considering it, to kind of check themselves before they make any mistakes or do things that they're gonna regret.
Right. And I think that this also puts an onus on, I think the next step is for companies to rethink or restructure how they respond to reports like this, and maybe open up avenues for people to actually follow through on this stuff, because this is why it's all so public and turns up to everybody, because it's like, some of this stuff, it actually would be better if things were private for a lot of these people, because a lot of the time for the people who are stepping forward, like, that takes so much, like you said, so much courage to step forward, and they have to relive a lot of those experiences as they recant them. Like, they have to be super careful about their wording as to not actually commit libel in some cases, but like, because if they can't prove it, it's a challenge for people.
You have to come off respectable, like you're telling the truth, provide as much detail as possible, and they're all doing it as well as they can to make sure they don't leave any room for, you know, people to say, hey, you know what, you're lying, or I don't believe you. Right. She doesn't even spell things right. I don't believe this person. Like, they're just trying to get clout, and it's just like, that's so much on a person. You know what I mean? Like, I've been in the bad spotlight before, and I've been bullied and all that stuff, and it's just like, sometimes when you do the right thing, people don't always respond well. You know, especially if you're making allegations against somebody who is mainstream famous and they don't really know who they're supporting, and they think it's a good person, and it turns out to be not, then you risk getting, you know, those followers all over you, which does happen, you know? Yeah.
It totally does. And like, you'll have people coming out of the woodwork being like, just sending death threats, because you've
shattered their image of their hero or whatever,
as it were, which is problematic for the whole other slew of reasons, but it happens.
The thing is, we're changing it. We're changing it right now, and changes are happening, and changes are going to continue as long as we don't let it go. You know what I mean? I think it's time for the gaming community to kind of make a stand for women, because I think I speak for all of us when we kind of say, like, dude, I've had enough. Like, I've had enough of this insane hate, mistreatment, misconduct to other people in general. Because it's, I mean, like, as we've learned from these past, like, the past week, it's not just women who are affected, it's also men. And bottom
Right.
line is, we should not be hurting other human beings for our own enjoyment or benefit.
Right. How about I hit you with this one? Here's a bad faith argument against what you've just told me. Hey, I hear you saying that you want respect, but also I see you selling pictures of your beehole on the internet. So, like,
what does one have to do with the other?
You want it, right?
Yeah. Ugh, men are so funny. No, I believe as a woman, I own my body, and those are just pictures, digital pictures of my body. And for me, I'm kind of pretty famous for being a revenge porn victim, and that was from somebody in the Smash community. And it's it wasn't my fault. You know what I mean?
Right.
I didn't get to decide to be a porn star. The Smash community decided that for me when they, you know, hacked my iCloud and released all these pictures and doxed me and all these things. And I'm at this point in my life where I'm just like, you know what? I know who I am and I love myself. And I think I'm beautiful. And if people want to buy pictures of my body to support me, then they'll do it and I'll live happily. Because it's just like, dude, my vagina is already out there, seen by like thousands of people. It's just like, what else am I going to do now? Keep crying over it? No, I'm going to start owning it and making money for myself, being my own boss the way that I can. And now I send money to mothers, single fathers, women gamers, and now I can do this Queens of Quarantine thing. So I'm pretty happy with my decisions and my job. So
right. You're taking that moment in your life and owning it in a way that is also giving back to the community or to people who didn't have the resources that you might have needed or wanted back.
And I'm very thankful for my opportunities, you know, like things might have been bad, but you know, I have full control over my life and I'm happy.
Yeah.
And I'm excited. And
but
nobody
also,
can bring me down.
At the same time, that is not inviting for other people to be abusive in any way.
Yeah.
It does, like you said, has nothing to do with the other.
Yeah, I used to cry like every single day over the things that were said to me and the things that were done to me in the Smash community, but now I'm just like, it doesn't even faze me anymore. And that's because I've seen other women in the gaming community be super strong, especially women of color, because they get the worst shit, like racist stuff and being called all sorts of things, and then they just shrug it off. And you know what? I looked at them, these women in the fighting game community, and I was like, I want to be just like them, and I know I can. So I'm just going to keep doing that, because I might get flack for this, but I'm just going to say it, like, men are trash sometimes. And I feel like women have to like put their foot down and just be like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, who are you? Get out of my face. Like, I'm trying to live my life over here. I don't know who you think you are, but you can't talk to me like that.
So I was actually speaking to my wife the other night. Was doing a little cookout yesterday. We've done cookouts all week long because turning the oven on in this climate is a bad idea. I don't want to do that to.
And cookouts are just fun.
Sure, and like you put the hot outside, keep all the hot outside so the inside don't get no hot. That's the plan.
Yes.
Having some kebabs, and I asked her. I was like, well. Like, how do you limit the creepy guyness? Because
that's easy. Well, first of all, I don't I don't owe them anything. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, I used to be one of those women, because my parents are Asian, right? And they raised me to not say no. So I had poor boundaries and expectations of people and all this stuff. But now I'm just like, listen, I don't care what you say. I don't know you. Okay, I don't have to talk to you. I don't owe you anything. So for the most part, I won't read messages unless like they're paying me like $20 a response or something, and then it's just like I mentally set myself up for success. So I don't give any power to people, random people on the internet who have an opinion about me or my body, because chances are I'm never going to even meet them. You know what I mean? Like, who is this dude hunched over talking trash to me because he feels some type of way? It's just like, nope, I don't care. When you know your worth, it gets much easier to discount the trash. That's all I have to say.
Another question that I asked her and that she responded to was like, what if I were to see something that is like, what is helpful in this case? Like, what is there that I could do to help the situation? And her reply was like, a lot of the times, like, because a creepy guy will make like a joke, and a lot of the times what will happen is a lot of people will just awkwardly laugh along and just not really say anything in response as like a retort. And that's almost like a co-signing of, I agree with this, versus what you can do is just like, very simply, if you hear someone make a creepy joke, just go like, nah man, that ain't it. Just like call them out on it. And that like quick hit of like, nah man, that was awkward, like, get the fuck out of here, is like super important.
No, you're
it's super
right.
important
It's
to
helpful.
do. Yeah.
I see it in bullying all the time. Like, I try and take a couple minutes each day to, like, if I see something happening, then I'll say it, because the thing is, like, with our voices, we have the power to change things. And I felt so much better once I started challenging some of the awful things that were being said to me. And sometimes they're not always awful. They're just, like, at the most creepy or rude. But still, you want to stop them in their tracks before they get to that next level. Because the people who are, like, really freaky, nobody ever stopped them. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, they're definitely too much. And for me, like, recently, I think a few days ago, I have this, like, perfectly, like, PG-13. I'm fully clothed on a video on my Twitter where I have my Free Hong Kong shirt, and I shake my butt a little bit, and some guy just comes in and he's like, you're in need of a good spanking or whatever. And I'm just like, you're in need of a good beating. Like, I'm just like, what? I just pretend they're right in front of me and be like, what are you saying to me? Like, what makes you think you can say that to me? And I think more women have to take that stance, because it's just like, dude, it's gross. What are you doing?
I also,
but yeah,
as a challenge to that, I also don't think that it is on the person being accosted to educate other people. It's not. You can, and to your credit, like, that's a good thing that you do, but it also isn't on you to always be educating people for the things that happen poorly to you. So, like,
sometimes you can just block them.
Right. So, like, that is also, I do want to, like, throw it out there of people who are like, this is a lot, I don't know if I have it in me. Don't worry, you don't have to. But also, I want to send that out there to people who, like, don't get accosted for looking the way that they do. I don't have the ass for it, is my big issue. Is that it's just back to thigh. There's nothing in between. It's back thigh, there's.
You have a long back.
I have a very long back, is what I'm trying to tell you. Ain't nobody trying to bounce a quarter off this. It's nothing back there. So
you have a perfectly fine booty.
So I'm not going to get responses like that to anything that I do. But if I see something like that, I'm just saying, like, not cool, man. Because, like I said, if you were right next to that person, just be like, nah, man, this is awkward as fuck. Like, you take that shit elsewhere, bruh.
You could even write with a question mark, you know, just so they kind of wake up a little bit and be like, dude, you see that this is a public comment, right? We can all see this.
That's a good, you know what? That's a good, pretty non-aggressive, pretty, innocuous, hey,
I do it all the time.
Okay, so
I get those all the time. I'm just like, what are you asking me right now? What are you saying to me? Like, and once you get to that point, then you can shrug it off and walk away. That's what I do anyways.
Good advice. Good advice. With that, though, I do want to throw it out there that because there are so many stories still coming out, if you want to remain anonymous or share your story during the event, that's something that you had wanted to maybe do as well.
Yes.
Have women, tell about their experience, be it good, be it bad, doesn't matter. Just your experience in general is a valued thing to be had or told on during this tournament. So I want to offer up the email of rsfradioquestions. If you it's always linked in the show notes. So if you need to find it, you can just email in at that. If you just want to remain anonymous, that's fine. We can do that as well. And have your stories
we want to be
read.
Respectful.
Yeah.
And we just want people to be aware of the situations that exist within the community so that we can talk about it, process them, and help figure out the best steps from here on. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, we just want a healthy, happy, safe community where we can all play video games. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I'm in big agreement. And with that, I think that feels like a show to me. That feels like I feel like we've done a podcast. That is, unless there was anything else that you would want to cover before we do like the closing questions here.
No, I just want everybody to remember that everything's going to be okay, and we're going to have a lot of fun in Street Fighter. That's all.
Very cute. With that, though, I cannot let you go without asking you a line of questions that I ask everyone who comes on this show, and I think that the way that you answer it can really tell a lot about a person just in the ways that they answer it. So the first part of the question is, what is your favorite normal attack in any fighting game?
Well, I play Street Fighter 5, and I like to play Nash. I would probably say like his Sonic Boom is most appealing to me.
Why is that exactly? Why the booms?
I like the light, the blue of the light when he kicks, and I don't know, it just Sonic Boom, and then it's just really satisfying to watch him spin in a circle, and when I land it, I feel so proud of myself.
It's okay. Well, that's there's like an aesthetic to it. Like, you're not wrong. That particular color blue is very pleasant blue. It's like almost like a greenish, not
I'm
quite
just being
teal.
silly. I know it's.
No,
that's not. You know
that's
what I'm
not
saying?
like that's not silly. That's an answer. That's the way that I like it. So part two of the question though is with the booms too. I kind of want to talk about the booms for a little bit. Nash needs buffs. Clearly, he's still pretty weak. But like the variation on his booms and the recovery on them, like he can do like so many cool corner things, like double up on. It's a useful tool. But anyway, what is your favorite combo in any fighting game?
I probably wouldn't announce it because I'm not even good enough where, like, if I just told you guys what I do, then you would easily combat it. But I do like using Nash, and I'm a fan of grabbing. I don't know the names of the combos, but I do like playing him. I just like how he looks, and I'm pretty obsessed with him.
Okay, he's just a sexy boy. He's a sexy zombie boy who has got a look about him.
I haven't been able to master the combos as well as I want to, so the next time I'm on your podcast, I will answer that better for you.
Ending a combo in a Sonic Scythe and sending him flying up in the air, or like the EX Sonic Scythe. Yeah, Moonsault. Yeah, Moonsault's good. But like people figure it out is the big issue. It should buff Nash in general.
They do need to buff him.
How do you deal with looking at Nash's hair? Is his hair good or is it bad? Okay, you like his.
What about his hair?
What about his hair is appealing? I need someone to explain it to me.
He's blonde, and I've never dated a blonde guy, So I'm I'm fascinated by him. I mean, this can't come as a complete surprise. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna say Dawson because Dawson looks like he needs to eat something, and then
Fair.
Birdie looks like he's eaten too much. And I just have a thing for nerdy looking white guys. I don't know what to say. It's very, very shallow, but I'm not gonna lie about it. I just got the hots for Nash.
Hey man, that's fine. You're not the only one. There's, I'm pretty sure you can find a lot of Nash / fiction out there to appeal to those needs.
Don't tempt me.
I know. With that though, that is a show, and that will close things up for tonight's show. Before you go though, where can people find you on the internet? One more time, hit me again.
Oh, my Instagram is Chibi Cynthia, and that's ChibiCynthia. So find me there.
Should people also find you on Twitter.com?
Twitter.com/ChibiGoddess7. And most importantly is Marina's Maid Cafe, which is, twitch.tv/Marina's Maid Cafe.
All right, and all of those links will be in the show notes, so you can find them there. Again, you can find me at Super Joe Monday or at RedditSF on Twitter.com, or just hit me up on our Street Fighter. I'm there all the time. I see it.
Thank you for having me, by the way.
I want to remind people one more time. Trust me, it's been a pleasure. You have been a delightful guest. This has been a great experience, and I'm glad to have talked to you and got the information out there for Queens of Quarantine. I'm looking forward to the event, and I hope that other people are as well. It
350 prize
on the line. Get your ass there. I'll try to get my ass there, but it's not going to make a big impact, if you know what I mean. I'm throwing out the Mika's peaches, and it's zero damage. Trust me, every time.
Camera squats.
Yeah, it's just it's just crushing my spine every time. Every time I sit down, it's just compacting my spine. All right, there's no cushion. Toilet seats are very difficult.
You're good.
I slide right off them.
You're beautiful, just as you are. Okay.
You don't need to.
Don't let those bullies get to you. I will defend you.
My mouse pad has a bigger booty than I do. Is the big issue. Be
nice to yourself.
With that though, that's a show. Don't forget about the weekly tournaments that we throw on Mondays and Fridays, and again, Queens of Quarantine coming up on the 1st. So look for that. That'll be shared in the show notes, and also there will be tons of announcements before the event, I'm sure. So check that out. Until next time, folks, take care of yourself, and also love yourself. We'll do that as well. Yay. Peace.